Warning, if you're faint of heart or easily offended, this show is not for you.
I don't give a damn about what you saying, bitch, you in the way. Closed case, my nigga beat the charges like yesterday. In your face, I'ma go hard and make sure you see the cake. Keep the pace, ain't no one fucking with me, this not a race. Doing the shit that I want, I'm never gonna stop, I'm never gonna give in. Making my way to the top, I told you to ride, I told you to get in. Now you can't eat out my pot, it's filled to the top, and I'm about to dig in. You say I was doing you wrong.
All right, welcome. Friday night surprise.
Friday night.
We got the
Friday night surprise.
special edition of the Go Rogue podcast on Friday night. So how are we doing this evening?
Great, brother. We're doing good.
So you're running solo there?
I'm running solo. Well, I mean, I got all the kids. You know what I mean? We got 7 kids in this house, so solo adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
How about you guys, man? How's y'all's week been out there? And where are you guys at? The Arctic or the Antarctic or something?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
For real.
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah,
West
it's
Ohio, so we're neighbors technically.
I live in an ice tray
Yeah.
in the freezer. That's where I live.
Up there by
Yeah, if y'all's weather is anything like it was when I was in Bloomington, you guys could probably refrigerate everything. You could just pull all the cords to your refrigerators and freezers and just throw it outside. It'll be fine.
It's funny because we feed raw, and my raw's been sitting outside for a month. Hard as a rock. It ain't even thought about melting yet.
Yeah, you got to worry about wasting no electricity during the winter months on a fridge or freezer, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
What's up, Anthony?
What's going on?
Get a couple shares going here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that part of the Midwest, since there's no like mountains and hills really,
Yeah.
that wind cuts through your bones, right? There's
Yeah.
nothing to trap in any kind of heat, right?
Gotcha. I live in a smaller, I guess you would call it a suburb outside of another bigger suburb, and we have a hill on one side, and then it's just flat land. So when it gets windy, they call my little area is called Cordelia, and it's called the Windy City.
Yeah,
Like Chicago, right? It's the windy.
Yeah.
It gets windier than hell. People's trash cans get blown down the street, and stuff on
it's
their
by
lawn.
isn't it by like a river that leads into the bay or something like
Yeah, it's right by the Delta.
that? Okay, yeah.
It's right by the Delta. Yeah. There's marshlands on the other side of the freeway from us. So
Yeah, nothing to block wind.
at all, brother, that wind just comes down that little hill, and it's like the inertia of it just picked up, 10 times.
Yeah.
It's like Dragon Ball Super Saiyan.
That shit, yeah, it cuts through. I don't know. It cuts through many layers of clothing.
Yes. Luckily, we don't have the cold that y'all got out there.
Yeah.
But when it gets windy, it gets windy. So I could only imagine what it would feel like over there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the boss at this time?
Oh, the boss? Oh, she had to go in and experience that weather as well.
Oh,
So
that's right. That's right.
yeah. She's heading out to Allentown.
Woo.
I don't know how cold it is over there, but
It's cold.
it's pretty cold over there.
It's cold. It's cold.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
She's gonna get the full effect.
Good.
Kira, I hope you brought layers and poofy jackets.
And layers.
Yeah, and layers. Maybe some thermal underwear for Blaze.
She might have Blaze's coat. He has a winter coat.
Yeah.
He's usually fiery, bro. He's usually on fire, so he should be warm enough.
Yeah, that's right.
You
All right.
know?
Well, we called this meeting of the gentlemen this evening to discuss some details. So let's jump into it. Let's see what's gets the word out there. So what's going on?
Yeah, so I believe it was earlier in the week or something like that. I had gone on this live interview, whatever you want to call it, with a Nation Bulls or something like that. And I really don't like going on lives, especially with people I don't know, and especially with platforms that are not like English speaking. It's super easy to take, things out of context, and it a lot of times it doesn't work out. But we figured that maybe it would help out, with some confusion with the Shorty Bull. The whole thing was supposed to be about the Shorty Bull and Euro Nationals, but that didn't we didn't even really touch on that. But anyways, I wanted to clear the air because there's actually a lot of folks up here in the States that are kind of grabbing tidbits of it and running with it,
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that. Things of, I called this dog a pit bull. I've something about calling international dogs inferior. That really wasn't even it. People saying that I handpicked this dog to call him a pit bull. And no, I didn't. That's false. I was actually asked a question by one of their followers via the host of the show, and they asked me in comparison, what do I think of these dogs in comparison? And that was Notch and Jack. In that part of it, I was speaking in third party terms as to, with the one, Notch, it would be, it can be he can't be mistaken for an American Pit Bull Terrier, right? A lot of people try to say that, the American Bully is worldwide. Everyone knows that, like we're worldwide, but not everyone in the world knows what we are, right?
No.
Like I still get it. We used to get it with Blue all the time, walking through the airport. You know what I mean?
That's a
going
nice
through
pit
car
bull.
rental.
Yeah,
Hey, that's a badass pit bull.
right.
And if we have time, we'll educate him. If we don't, thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's about it, So I was speaking in third party terms, whereas he could be mistaken. And if you think that, and then clearly you're it's because you're biased. You know what an American Bully is, right? I think he is a solid, well-rounded American Bully. I've awarded the dog breed multiple times in the past, and nowhere did I call him a pit bull. So that's one thing that I wanted to clear up. Then the second, actually, that's two things. I didn't handpick him. The followers brought his name up. I didn't bring his name up at all. And then the second, calling him pit bull, I didn't call him a pit bull. And they like to say that it was indirectly. No, it wasn't at all. It was an example. So there's that.
And it's funny that you had mentioned that because we, even ourselves, even Han and I, will make that comparison.
Yeah.
There is a dog that clearly an American Bully, but I could take him to the pet store and people would be like, "That's a nice pit bull."
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I have dogs. Yeah. I have dogs that can get confused all the time.
And then there are American Bullies that you can take to the pet store and people are like, "What the hell is that?"
Yes.
They would never mistake it. They don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They clearly wouldn't mistake it for a pit bull.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the clarification that you were trying to make.
That's exactly what it was. And that's exactly how the host took it. That's exactly how Rolando took it. You know what I mean? It's just certain people that are trying to twist words, to align, with their narrative. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. then wow, gosh, I forget what there's like so much more. Trying to think, there was a third thing that I wanted to clear the air with. I guess they're saying that I said that international dogs are inferior, saying that those are my words, and no, bro.
Right.
Yeah, they're saying that I told
I don't know
them
if people realize this, but you picked an international dog to win nationals.
that well, there you go. Yeah, the dog's from Canada.
It's from Canada.
Yeah. So it's beyond me, man. The things that certain people will try to come up with, you know what I mean? I said that the campaign is number one. What we did, campaigning blue, was we went clear across the country. We went clear across the Atlantic Ocean. We flew all the way down to South America, Central America, and we took our dog and put him up against the best in the world.
Right.
Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. And we did that continuously at every show that we went to, and that is what makes a campaign that much better, right? Because now, like you are going up against the best that the world has. You can't be a boxer or an MMA fighter and just fight non-ranked dogs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then call yourself the pound non-ranked, fighters, and call yourself the pound for pound best in the world. It's hard to do that. You have to go up against the best.
Yeah.
Period. You know what I mean? To be the best. But we've seen it. We've seen the firsthand this last campaign season. You could do it without doing that, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
and the reality is it's a numbers game, and people play it here in the States. Like, they were probably forced, right? You're in South America. You didn't travel everywhere. You just showed in South America.
Well, but here you did travel. Yeah. They did. And when they did, it didn't really work out. So,
but the reality of it is we can, by all means, we can show a dog, and we can go to select shows, and we can run the numbers.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's not what counts. Like, the numbers, it makes you the top dog as far as the numbers go.
Yeah.
But you also have to compete against the other top dogs.
I mean, that's where it would make it worth the title to me.
Right.
Is beating the other top dogs and beating them continuously.
Yeah.
All year long, right? Like, it's that's where that conversation was. And then they turned around, took that, and twisted it up, saying that I called international dogs inferior.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So those were the two, the three things that I wanted to touch on, because I'm never out to offend anyone directly. The real, the honest truth is, though, if like you get offended very easily, maybe dog show sports ain't for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it maybe being competitive ain't for you. Doing like play solitaire,
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you could get offended that easily, then maybe competitive sports ain't for you.
Right.
And
when we were running our female up, going for grand champion, we were actually going for the youngest female American Bully grand champion ever. But we went to every show. That every weekend we were in the ring with the same dogs. The same top dogs. We were in the same ring with them every weekend.
Yeah.
So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. but
Yeah.
it was basically all of the highest ranked dogs were running around to the same shows, competing against each other. The variance there is the judge.
Yes.
Right.
We're all standing there every weekend, same dogs in a ring. The difference is the judge.
There's a different judge, right?
At the end of the season, I can say we stood that female in front of every ABKC judge we could get her in front of, and she accomplished a thing that no other female before.
That campaign season, you put her in front of every active judge that was taking assignments.
Yeah.
You know, that you could. That's where it counts. You know what I mean? It counts in that sense. Like I believe when we were campaigning Blue, my wife has the actual numbers, but it was if there was 100 judges internationally and US judges, the ratio was, or it came out to something along the lines of like 87 judges total out of 100.
Right.
You know what I mean? So every single judge had put their hands on him. Not every judge put him up. And not every judge put him up every time. You know what I mean?
Right.
There is that, you know, today just wasn't his day. You know what I'm saying? Type of situation.
Right.
But we can say that we put him in the ring, and he was evaluated by more than 80% of the judges.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he's gone up against, you know, the best dogs in the world, not just in the U.S., in the world, because we did take him to Europe twice, and we took him to South America twice, and we took him to Mexico once, and we took him to Central America once. But a lot of those places, South Americans and Central America, they can, you know, go because they're not separated by the land, by water.
Right.
You know,
right.
they could drive to, you know, each country. So yeah, we did see a lot of the same dogs too, you know,
Yeah.
in that region, you know, and they have nice dogs.
Yeah.
Problem is down there, I mean, for me at least, they have nice dogs, but they sell their nice dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I've seen some nice dogs that were there that end up in Russia, Europe, Philippines. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, you guys have these nice dogs, but you end up letting them go. And then what do you have left to compete with? You know?
This is true.
So
the other end of it that, you know, I'll put out there is the fact that you can do all that work and you can do all that travel and you can gain those points, and you can also say, hey, I stood in front of every badass dog we could find this year, and you can still go to the nationals and the dog can still show up off the couch that hasn't shown not one day this year and knock you down a notch. You know what I mean?
It's been proven. We saw that with what year was that bus one? They didn't show that dog at all that year. Man, people forgot about that dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then here he is, comes strutting in the fucking nationals, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just comes out of nowhere and takes the show, you know? So that happens, you know, and it can happen. There are a lot of good dogs out there, a lot of badass dogs out there that people have never even seen. I mean, I'm out here in Cali, and I know a lot of people out here, so I see a lot of dogs that are just pets.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, bro, why don't you let my wife show that dog? I'm not really. I'm telling you right now, brother, your dog has the capability of running for top dog. And he was like, and you know, it's like, I'm like, all right, you know. I mean, it's just not for some people, but I mean, and I could count, you know, I can't even count on both hands like how many dogs I've seen just in California, Northern California, that I think are badass dogs like Blues and Zeros, Samsons, Bears, Buses. You know what I mean? Like Hangmans. Like I've seen more than I could count on my fingers, but they don't show their dogs, and they're not into it. You You know, it's that, and that's a reality.
Yeah.
You know, so
Kira.
yeah. What is she on there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she said she stopped a man walking in the PetSmart parking lot because
Oh,
it was so nice.
yeah, yeah. And this guy actually ended up coming to our show in Lodi a few months later and
Right.
had a very nice dog. Like she was like, I was on the phone with my mom and I was like, Mom, I gotta call you back. I see a nice dog. You know, it's like
Yeah, that's funny.
Right.
so just imagine being that dude and some like crazy Polynesian girls like running up on you like, can I pet your dog? You know, it's funny as hell. Yeah, my wife, yeah. I mean, dogs is like second nature for her, you know. So but yeah, you know, so I mean that was, you know, that's really like the main thing that I wanted to get out there, man. You know, that way
a lot
people
of things
know.
a lot of things get lost in translation.
Yeah.
And the other thing, when you're speaking to someone who doesn't speak your native language,
Yeah.
um, moderately, there's a lot of phrases, cultural phrases Americans use that are offensive in other parts of the world, So there's just it's so difficult when what you're trying to relay doesn't come across the way you want it to. And
Yeah.
that miscommunication, if not delivered appropriately, can result in being an insult when it was never meant to be.
Well, especially when you're wanting it to be insulting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Uh,
especially if you're the one on the other, like not even involved in the conversation, but you want something to be insulting, or you
yeah,
want something to
yeah,
be malicious. You know what I mean?
hmm
It's very easy to twist it up and take it out of context, and then turn around and share it, with your people, your followers as a malicious thing. And that sucks.
Yeah.
right.
uh and you have no control over it, you know what I'm saying? Because like there's no way I can you know record myself and post it up on Facebook or TikTok, whatever it is, and apologize to anyone in Peru because I don't speak their language.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not only do they not, some of them might not speak my language, but they may not understand everything else that goes into, speech. You
Right.
know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So here's one like so like I'm Hawaiian, and we have a saying, and it could mean several different things. Um, but if you're not in that conversation, then you possibly wouldn't even know. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What we're saying. Like I could be talking to one of the kids, and it's like, hey, Damien, go turn the kind off. And
Right.
then go to the fridge, get me the kind, and he'll know what I mean. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you might hear that from the side and be like, what did he just tell him?
What's the kind?
Yeah,
And
like what's the
the
kind?
kind can literally mean anything.
Anything. But my son
Anything.
understands because I
Right.
added in that little bit, like turn off the kind,
Yeah.
right? And if I'm pointing in a certain direction where the light switch is, you know what I'm saying? That, or if I'm
Right.
pointing at the TV, you know what I mean? Then he's turn the TV off, or turn the TV on, or turn the light on. Go
Yeah.
to the fridge and grab the kind. I may have to say green bottles, but
Right.
it's just, they know. So being able to, you know, um, I guess translate that, you know what I mean, in your head to understand um the situation of the conversation.
Mhm.
So that's where it's hard, and like I said earlier, like that's why I don't really care to you know do podcasts or interviews or lives with non-English speaking
Right.
Right.
platform, because it'll be super easy for them to misunderstand. you know, and then someone that already has malicious intent,
yeah,
you know, it'd be super easy for them to, you know, do what they want to do with it, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
well, reality of it is, even in English to English, you know, things get twisted. And, you know, here's the thing. If I'm having a conversation with you and I'm like, yeah, that dog looks too much like a pit bull. The reality of it is we know as bully people, that dog probably doesn't look anything like one. Because we know what an American pit bull looks like. It doesn't, you know, they're super.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw one, I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Greyhounds. And they're like, that's the American Pit Bull Terrier. I'm like, what? Oh, it's anorexic. You know what I mean? But in general term, we would just refer that, like my type of breeder, I'm going to refer that to any dog that just isn't extreme. You know what I mean? Like that's just term. It's not an offensive term. It's not what I mean. I don't mean to offend people, but I say the dog has a terrier look versus an American.
Yeah, but it's just a shortcut way for us to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people that say that, oh, you like you know, like you know, you're full of it. You know exactly what American Bully is. Like, yeah, I know exactly what American Bully is. You know what I mean? I've been, you know, I'm part of the people that created it. You know, and so, you know, I always use the term of like, there's several different shepherds. You know what I mean? And a Malinois and German Shepherd aren't the same breed, but a lot of people know German Shepherd. You know what I'm saying? So they may call a Malinois a German Shepherd.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know, so you know, when you try to say like, oh, the world knows what American Bully is. No, they don't. They know what American Pit Bull Terrier is, and they don't even know what American Pit Bull Terrier is. They just know Pit Bull.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like with what's going on in the UK. They say XL Bully. They say Pocket Bully. You know, the media. They don't know what an American Bully is.
Yeah.
They actually think that a Pocket Bully and an XL Bully are what they are.
Right.
You know, so it's just, you know.
And literally, you know, what's funny is over there is they say all these XLs are aggressive or they're whatever. And I look at it, I'm like, that's not even an XL American Bully in the first place.
Yeah,
right.
What the hell that is, and I don't know why they're calling it an American Bully. They just latched onto a term and assigned it to a dog that a certain size. You know, what's up, Jake?
Right.
So it's unfortunate in that case because if they saw a true XL American Bully, then you could be like, well, what is this then? Oh, yeah. And I said, this is an XL American Bully. So what you're banning over here isn't what you're saying it is.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and that's the thing, like, you know how like you buy a new car and all of a sudden you see your fucking car everywhere. Right. You're like, oh shit, there's my car. It's the same thing with the American Bully. Before you get one, everything is a fucking pit bull. Then once you get one, no, this is an American Bully. That's a pit bull. Like, you own it, so now you differentiate it, right? Because you see the differences every single day. So the average person, all of our dogs are pit bull related, right? They're terriers of some sort, right? It was funny because the other day we were looking at dog food, and I was looking at the bag, and Samantha was like, what kind of dog is that on the bag? And I'm like, oh, fuck. It looks like a chocolate lab to me. It starts laughing her ass off, and she's like, you can't be the furthest thing from fucking wrong. It was some kind of like Irish something or whatever the fuck.
What bag of dog food was it?
Explorer.
Oh, okay. The dog with the
I've never even heard of that one.
Yeah. It looked like a fucking chocolate lab, and she's like, no, it's like a Irish terrier or some shit. I'm like,
but gotcha.
Chocolate lab. You know, so if you're not into that dog, you're gonna mistake it for something else, right?
My wife's dog food the other day, and I was like, hey babe, what dog again? I'm pretty sure it's that you know, that water dog, that bird dog. She saw the pointer. I was like, that's what I meant. You know what I mean? It's a pointer, right? But it's, you know, they're bird dogs, they're water dogs. So that's how I, you know what I mean?
Right.
When I was going for the dog food, right? So yeah, man. Yes, sir, man. So what else we got?
Did you want to touch on Euro Nationals?
Hell yeah, we got time. Yes, sir. I mean, that's really what I wanted to talk about on this other thing that they had going on, but they obviously had another agenda. But yeah, I give it to y'all, man. Euro Nationals. Whoo, yeah, brother. Euro Nationals was awesome, man. And again, it was cold over there too. But it was a great time. I couldn't have. I mean, I obviously, like, leading up to it, I could have asked for, you know, a better situation, but it was just hell trying to get out there, man. We had all kinds of issues with Blaze's paperwork, and the USDA like kind of messed up on us, and you know, the weather stopped something, and then we had to try to find another USDA, you know, doctor, and it was like the actual day we were supposed to be leaving, we got his paperwork. That's how crazy it was. You know, like, I thought I was like cutting it close with my passport, but you know, I got my passport renewed, and I ended up getting it in hand, like, I don't know, three or 4 days before we had to go. So you know, I was cutting it close, but we literally got Blaze's paperwork, his USDA papers, the day of our flight at like 7:45 in the morning. So and we were leaving at 10. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Damn.
And then we got there, we got to Belgium, or actually we went into Amsterdam. And we got to Amsterdam, and they lost Everly's car seat, brother, at the airport, and they lost it for like an hour. And I'm like, here, like, dude, like, what are we gonna do? You know, like, I'm not gonna put my daughter in the car without her car seat. Do you guys sell car seats? And this airline didn't have, like, usually airlines will have car seats there, little cheap car seats, you know, but just in case. And this airline didn't have one for us. So, you know, and it sucked, you know. I don't know if you guys know the feeling of being stuck in a different country and not really understanding how things work, and where would you go to get a car seat. Like, I don't know if they have a Walmart, you know, or a Target. I don't know, you know. So it was super stressful, and then, you know, by the time we got out of there, got our rental car, it was already late, and we kind of had plans for the day, you know, because we were getting in early in the morning. Well, not early in the morning, but earlier in the day, like mid-morning. So we had plans, and by the time we got to our hotel to offload, it was just pitch black dark outside, freezing cold, and I was just like, man, we're just gonna have to thug it out here at the hotel. You know, luckily they had a restaurant there, and, you know, well, things weren't too far away, but we just stayed at the hotel that first night. And, you know, second day we went out and did some sightseeing, saw a few things in that city. And then it was Saturday, all of a sudden, day of the show. And it was cool, man. Like, the venue was a little different, but the staging of it was pretty awesome. I mean, that girl Mara, she knows how to stage events. It was pretty bad at the venue. I thought they could have had a better venue, but maybe they just in that area couldn't, you know. I mean, it felt like a big old, you know, like, closed in area for a swap meet, or like I don't know, like maybe a cow auction or something. I don't know. It was weird. But and it was hella cold, man. It was freezing cold over there. So, and there was a lot of nice dogs. There was a lot of nice dogs over there. And you know, we were nervous. You know, I mean, we're here with a, you know, we're already coming from the bottom, right? You know, Shorty Bull breed. It's not a, you know, not a very popular breed. There's, you know, not, there wasn't any there. There's like, I want to say 2 breeders, and they don't even, they're not really active anymore out there in Europe and the UK. So, you know, we're already the underdog. So we're like, we gotta, you know, we've always got to fight it out with, you know, the big dogs, all the American bullies, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the Frenchies are big dogs too, even though they're small, they're still, you know, they come out in masses too. So so yeah, man, like just being there was awesome. It's always awesome, you know, being, you know, at a nationals, and the nationals, you know, internationally is a lot different. But winning nationals was a big deal for us. A big deal for my wife because she wasn't able to, you know, compete at U.S. nationals, so it was a really big deal to her. You know, we felt that Blaze was a contender also this year for U.S. nationals, and I kind of took that away from her. So, you know, when I did that, I had to promise her U.S. nationals, you know, freaking South American nationals, which we probably won't even do now. They probably hate us down there, but you know, whatever nationals, bro. Like if they had nationals on Mars, I'd have to try to figure out how to fucking get her out there. You know, that was one of the requirements for me to be able to judge nationals. Man, she got to be
sacrifice.
Able to go. Yeah, exactly. So,
I mean,
but
certainly made it up, right?
Yeah, for sure, brother. It was awesome, man. It's like a dream come true, because although we've been there, you know, a few other times with Blue, even though he sleeps over here all the time, and I gotta clean up after him all the time, he's not our dog, right? You know, he's like the redheaded stepchild that I own. You know, Blaze is our dog. That's our little boy, and so it was a really big deal for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah, nice.
The bigger part of it, though, was I've got so many people in Europe, in the UK, Philippines, South America, Mexico, Central America, Canada, asking about the breed, and that is like our main goal is you know, educating, you know, the masses about the Shorty Bull and this breed. It's an awesome breed, and you know, it's just when I got into him, I didn't know what I was getting into. I just, you know, I liked a dog named Devil Horn, and you know, I've been hooked, man. Ever since then, it's Shorty Bulls. I don't even like pure Frenchies anymore. You know, so it's like having a small American bully. You know what I mean? It's like having a small bully, you know. So, but yeah. I mean, Euro Nationals was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was a good time. You too, at some point, need to try to make it out, even just to watch.
Yeah.
You know, even just to be there. You know, it's pretty awesome, man.
What about Asian nationals?
Oh, you know it, man. I told her I would take her to every nationals there is. So, yeah.
Hey.
We got flights booked, you know, and
beautiful.
Yeah, we're heading out. We're gonna go a little early, you know, all this cold weather. And I didn't get to go to Hawaii with her, so I'm going to Boracay and I'm gonna sit on a beach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
We have to.
Awesome.
We have a lot of people in Philippines that are asking if we're coming in so they can see Blaze, and this and that. So yeah, we're gonna head out that way, man.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah. Set the world on fire.
What's up, buddy? You wanna go or what?
Man, I would love to, but I'd want to be gone for 2 weeks, and I just can't do it.
Dude, I totally get it, man. There is sometimes when I want to just, Kira, let's go, and we can't. You know what I mean? The house, the kids, the dogs, just super hard. But this time, since we are going for work, right? For work,
yeah, right. Yeah.
We're gonna kick in a couple extra days, you know.
Yeah, you got to.
You know, yeah, man. I can't go there and not enjoy what they have over there.
Right.
You know, because I mean, Philippines is a beautiful country. So you know, we're gonna go and try to enjoy as much as we can. And we're gonna go and have a good time. And we're gonna show the Philippines what a shorty bull is. So
that's beautiful.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I will see Kira and Blaze tomorrow.
Right on.
In Allentown.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Someone asked a question. They wanted to know, did you see any big differences in the dogs from Europe compared to the US?
Here in the US, a lot of dogs are a lot more refined. You know, but that's kind of expected, right? Because we've been, you know, there's breeding programs and stuff that have been here for a long time. So it's a lot easier to you know, refine your dogs, you know, when you've been involved in it 10 years longer, right? So, but Europe actually has a lot of nice dogs, man. Like I was surprised because the last nationals, you know, I wasn't like too excited with what was there. Now I know that nationals is just one show, but it's usually the show that everyone tries to go to and the big dogs try to go to, right?
Right.
So I was a lot more impressed this year with this nationals, even though there wasn't that like one standout dog. That's kind of like one of those things we're looking for, right? For there to be a few standout dogs. So I feel like, you know, Europe is doing a great job in their programs over there. You know, you've got a few different, you know, kennels out there that are really really doing big things and making a lot of noise. And you know, they're going to be the ones that, you know, that are competing harder than everyone else, and they're going to be the ones that everyone's, you know, trying to get their stock, you know.
Right.
So
yeah.
So yeah, they're doing good over there.
Maybe one of these days I'll go.
You gotta try, man. You gotta try. I mean, shoot, we gotta get you and Dina out to Hawaii, man. Just for a couple of days, like a week, you know. Find someone to watch the shop and the dogs for a week, man. And Kira and I will take you guys out there.
And part of the problem with visiting places I really like is then I don't want to come back.
You don't want to leave.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, you know, I could live here. It'd be too expensive because then you got to move your whole family, you know.
Yeah. I told Kira that. I was like, man, we were in Peru, and I was like, I just want to stay here. And I was like, let's just move here. And she's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. I was like, it'd be easy. We could just stay and just rebuild. You know what I'm saying? We'll leave the kids and everyone back home. We'll just send the money every month. Here, pay rent, pay mortgage, pay this, pay that. You know.
Well, I mean, I told Samantha if there was ever a show in Hawaii, I'd send her back.
Oh, dude. Kira and I were actually talking about doing one. And there is talks of someone trying to do one. It's just really hard, man, over there on that island, you know, being such a small island. You know, a lot of the locals, you know, some of them want it, and you know, there's other registries over there too that kind of take precedence. You know what I mean? So it's a lot harder in that sense. But I mean, we had shows over there, and it's really hard to do. Be prepared to lose a whole lot of money. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I had one show, brother. It was my last show, and we had 17 dogs entered into the show. I brought out 4 judges from the mainland, and it was like, it like the registration barely paid for each judge.
Oh.
It was rough. It was rough. So, I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to a show where there's only 17 competitors. You know what I mean? Like it was bad. Yeah. So,
damn, that sounds like a pull up at the park.
Yeah, I would have been better off just going to the park and busting out the barbecue and queuing up some stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And here, this is your first place. This plate right here, second plate. Here's your, So
nice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we need to cover?
There are a lot of other questions. Got time or?
Yeah, we got time. Whatever we need to do.
Nationals in Hawaii 2025.
There you go.
That'll be a small nationals probably. Yeah, I think that even if people did go out there, they'll probably be at the beach during rain call.
Yeah, seriously.
You know what I'm saying?
Taking pictures.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, let's go take pictures. Okay.
Hard enough to get people to come to Texas. So
yeah,
right.
Hawaii is another story.
Yeah. It's easier when you're on the West Coast, right? It's cheaper. So I think I could find a round trip at sometimes in the year, and it's like $280 to $350. You know what I mean? So it's a lot easier when you're close to Frisco or LA.
Right.
You catch a cheap ass flight.
For sure. Jim said, "I'm there."
Yeah.
Hell yeah, let's go. Brother Jim.
You make it happen, bro. I'm sending Samantha.
There you go.
We're gonna try. We'll see.
Just no muscle suit for my wife, please.
That was awesome, brother. Like that was super funny, man. And it never ceases to amaze me. Your wife is a awesome soul, bro. Like she is ready to get down and just go along with anything. Man, she's super, super cool.
Yeah.
Yep. If she had a fault, it would be she's a fixer. She tries to fix it. Yeah. It's just like you see somebody on the street, and I'm like, you see somebody, they're like standing over in the corner. Clearly, they're
not having time or whatever. Yeah.
And I finally had to get to the point. I'm like, Dina, do not make eye contact.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'm like, no, you can't. You're doing this, and what's happening is they see you, and then you make eye contact with them, and now they think they need to talk to you.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'll talk to them because then they're going to be asking you for money. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh shit.
Fix them.
Yeah. Tell Dina,
all dressed.
Sorry, she don't get none. I'm eating all them some bitches, bro.
Oh boy. I mean, you could just ship them to her. She'll take them.
I'll ship her the empty bag.
That's wrong. So wrong. I don't know. My camera is crazy. So annoying. See how it's like following me?
Stop. Yeah. Just gotta glue it stuff.
Now, it has that feature, but even if you shut it off, it doesn't shut off.
It still follows you.
Yeah. I'm like, I have the feature shut off and it's still doing it. I'm like, you're annoying me. Oh,
Well, shoot. What else? What other talk do you guys do on here, man?
Let's talk dogs, brother.
that's it.
Yeah.
The current climate of the community, which is
Cold.
kind of fucking toxic right now.
Oh, it's definitely toxic. Yeah, man.
It's like crackheads getting the first hit. You know what I mean?
Brother. Yeah,
Bro, it's been
all
over a
trying to
month.
get it. Yeah.
It's been over a month since the last ABKC show, and they finally get a hit and just go fucking crazy. You know? Like, damn, chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
There's more to come, homie. I got you hooked.
Yeah,
There's
for
more
sure.
to come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're gonna see him again. Don't
You're
worry.
gonna see him again, bro. He's on the same fucking block
Yeah.
every day.
You're not gonna miss him, even if you're behind him. You'll see the handprint.
Yeah.
They say you got 4 bags.
I'll save one for her, Eric. Thank you. Yeah.
I'll give you.
I don't know.
I'll
This has been a
I'll send you a FedEx slip.
yeah, it's just been like controversial. People with their opinions,
Yeah.
people manipulating context, it's just narratives, right? They're pushing their narrative. Everybody wants to push their narrative,
Yeah, man. It's unfortunate, man, but it's kind of how the world works, man, these days, It's nothing like, when I was growing up, it was pretty easy, it was like just 2 sides, you know what I'm saying? Like not several, right? So it just it sucks, man, because it involves our dogs. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like if it were to involve our kids, it just sucks, man.
It sucks, yeah. Because I'm gonna be real. These dogs I love as if they're my kids.
Yeah.
That's just how it is here. So, people want to say, everybody is thin-skinned. Well, if you loved your dog as much as we love ours, we are going to take offense.
Yeah.
Especially when we didn't fucking ask for your opinion.
That's right.
That's the worst part about it.
Yeah.
Like, everybody so the problem with our community is everybody's a motherfucking expert. Everybody's a motherfucking expert on everything. You can't tell nobody shit.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is fine. But why don't we leave the expert criticism and critique to the people we actually hire and pay to do those things?
Yeah.
Right? Because in all honesty, you're doing that shit for free. If you was a smart man, you can be fucking paid to do it.
Yeah.
If you're that good at speaking your opinion, you'd be getting paid to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It's true. This is true. You get used to it. I'm telling you, you do. It just happens. Eventually, you just get tired. You just whatever. Fuck you. I can't remember the guy's name. There's a guy that it told Dina to her face that she was like, these dogs are like my kids. And he was like, basically made fun of her, told her she was stupid because they're just dogs.
What?
Yeah, basically.
I don't think that guy's in dogs anymore, though, bro.
Well, and honestly, if I could remember his name, I'd be like, fuck him anyway. But
yeah.
Honestly, that's part of it. Here's another part of it is you got people like my wife that people will say shit like that to her, but she won't have the reaction that Han would have. Right? She takes it on the chin, just walks away and says, oh, no big deal, no big deal. Right? But what it does is it enables those people to continue doing that bullshit.
Continue to do it, right?
Oh, well, I can just say what I want because she won't say anything. Turns out she didn't meet me out in the parking lot and crack me over the head with a beer bottle. So I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
And that, honestly, that's the biggest problem with the whole world these days. People are too opinionated. There's no consequence for being an asshole.
Yeah. There's no lines, right?
Right.
Nothing happens when you're an ass, right? No one does anything. I mean, years ago, you really had to watch how you talked and said things to people,
Right.
because you could be out in public and you could actually look at somebody wrong and get laid the fuck out real quick, and no one knew what happened. You know what I mean? Dude's already gone. And you're just laid out on the ground.
Right.
So and that's how it was years ago. And that's why there was a lot more respect back then.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now, you get away with I mean, it started out with being able to talk through these computers and all that. And now people are actually like going as far as to doing it like right in your face, and it's hard for me, like, because bro, like, you might get like one or two words out and then you're going to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a different
Look, Richard, I'm not really sure that's how that goes.
What's that?
They hate us because they anus.
Oh, that definitely ain't
Anus.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know about that. Well, I guess it could be they anus, they asshole. There you go.
There you go.
What is this? We should be children. Oh, well, I don't even know what that means exactly.
We shouldn't be comparing dogs to children. It leaves no room for critique.
Oh, I see.
Well,
if
I put my dog in front of a judge, I'm accepting critique, especially when I ask him for feedback.
Yeah.
When I bring my dog into the middle of a room with people,
especially when you pay him.
I didn't ask for nobody's fucking opinion.
Right.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter was all-star cheerleading, and I'm driving her halfway across the country, and coaches would get on her ass, and then she'd come off the floor crying, and I'd be like, hey, you got to step it up. There's a reason why he's on your ass right now, because you're not pulling your weight. You know what I mean? So no, it's the same for us, because I'm not babying my kid any more than I would baby, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like you had expectations, you signed up to do something, then your ass better do it to the best of your ability, period.
Yeah, for sure, brother. For sure. I mean, that's how it was when I was growing up. If I wanted to do something, I did it, and I did it as best as I could, or else, like, I'm waiting. So,
for sure. People need to keep their Vanessa down in the Australia. You were in Australia, right, John? You went there?
Yeah, and that's Vanessa. I know Vanessa. She's awesome. She's a great person, man. I did a show for her. I think the first time I went down. No, I mean I think I've been out there before, but she's a great person, man. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, their problem in Australia, you guys got shit down there that'll kill you, and it ain't the people.
No, it's not. But brother, I've been down there, and I ain't even really came across anything except for when we went to the zoo.
You don't watch them fucking shows, bro? World's Deadliest. Everything's in fucking Australia.
It's in Australia, the whole show, the whole series.
The whole series is in Australia. Yeah. They might take a couple clips of here or there, but
the whole show is fucking Australia based. Yeah.
But when I was there, I didn't see anything. So we went to the zoo, and that's where I saw everything. But Yeah, nah, they're great people down there, and they actually have a lot of nice dogs. They just need some judges out there, man, so they could have more shows. That's their problem. It costs so much for them to bring judges in. I don't know how much it costs them to bring judges in from like Europe or the Philippines or whatnot, but I imagine it's still a lot. But I know I'm on the West Coast, and I think a ticket to Australia is still like $2,000, or 1,800, somewhere around there. So it's expensive for those hosts to bring people in to do bring judges in to do shows down there, and I think that's what really hurts them. That's why they're only able to do like 2 shows a year each.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hopefully they have like 1 or 2 guys that are apprenticing. Hopefully they can get a couple of good judges down there, and they can start holding more. Yeah.
Yeah, Vanessa said 2.7K, and the conversion isn't favorable from America.
No.
No.
So U.S. money is more. Yeah. That too. That's the part that sucks. It sucks for everyone in the world. I mean, I think I know euros like cents more than the U.S. dollar. It's not. It used to be a lot more, and there's times when I remember the U.S. dollar was more than everything in the world, but right now it's not.
Well,
hopefully it gets better. Hopefully it's supposed to get better. So
Eric Noel, he's in the comments. He's coming from Canada.
Okay.
We were having a conversation earlier, and he was saying that the Canadian dollar isn't worth what it was compared to the U.S. So these shows in the U.S. that he travels to are far more expensive than it would be just, waiting for a show at home.
At home, yeah. But that's the crazy thing, right? Like, we will spend our last dollar to come to here so we could show our dogs against different dogs, period, but also the best dogs in the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's these guys. I mean, I commend them. There's this one handler, he's a little Filipino dude. I think his name's Van. And I think Van, and I'm pretty sure Van, because Vans reminds me, the shoes brand Vans. That kid came down to our show, and he went to nationals, but it cost them so much more to do this dog thing than it does us, and they still do it, and they do it without fucking complaining like everybody else does.
Right. Yeah.
It's just crazy.
That's a hell of an offset right there.
Yeah, brother.
430 Canadian is 280 US.
Wow.
That is wild.
Yeah. I think for Europe, the euros is like 8 cents more.
Right.
So the euro dollar is worth $1.08 or something like that. Something like that. 08, or I don't know. I'm pretty sure, because it was like 92 cents. So yeah, it's like $1.08. It ain't much, but it's still worth more.
Damn.
Well, even like a lot of my friends that they got a lot of family that come back and forth from Mexico, like they tell me like all the time, like, yeah, my family's like, the US dollar ain't worth shit no more. But I remember back in the day when they were like 25 cents. Yeah, give me it, all of it, all that change. They wanted it all.
Yep.
Right.
So yeah, they're like, our dollar, it's still worth more, right, than the Mexican pesos, but it's
not much.
It's such a dramatic change to them that it ain't worth nothing to them anymore.
Right.
So like if you're down there, visiting or touring, and you try to tip someone and give them $5, you know what I mean? Like 10 years ago, that'd have been like giving them a $50 bill, right? And now it's like giving them $3.
Oh, well, there you go. Hey, now you Canadians need to vacation in Australia. I mean,
Yeah,
Your dollar stretches.
offset there for you.
yeah, that or they go down to Mexico.
Yeah. There was another place, I can't remember what it was. The exchange rate was wild. It may have been South America. I can't remember. Somebody was telling me, and I was like, "Oh man, it's crazy."
Oh yeah, yeah.
You go on vacation would take like $2,000 and live like a king for a week.
Mm-hmm. Well, Philippines too. The U.S.
Yeah,
dollar
so
stretches.
I remember the Philippines, the US dollar used to be huge, and you could go over there with like you could be if you was like say you were a bachelor and you had like just the average things, you know what I mean, a paid off car and you know a small home, whatever, and you just sold all your stuff and you left the US with 300K and go to the Philippines, you're a king.
Hmm.
You're a king, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I went there, this dude had a rest home, and this was down in Mindanao. It's like a cabin, but it was so nice. Like just the property itself. It had like a river that was running through it, and it was like right behind the little rest home. And they had a bridge that went out to an island in the middle of the river. It was just super cool, man. It was like jungle and all that, but like the home itself was like modernized. The dude was like, "Yeah, I think I paid like $2,000 for the property and like 40,000 for to build this restaurant." It was a really nice. Like I was thinking it was like 100, you know.
Right.
I was there. I was like, bro, I'll buy it. Like I'll give you 60 for it, you know. And he was like, nah.
Make
He
a
was
nice
like,
little profit.
he was like, this is prime, man. Like I got this river right here in that little island. I was like, yeah, that's tight.
That's
So
dope.
yeah,
Damn.
it was a dope ass little prop piece of property.
Crazy. Oh, Vanessa wants some more studs from Canada to ship to. Oh man, that international shipping shit. Ugh. I hate it. It's a pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
it's hard, man. They're getting real tight on a lot of stuff, you know.
Mhm.
Even when we had to deal with like going to Europe with Blaze, they don't do digital, so you know having to do all that extra going to the vet and then them submitting it to the USDA and then the USDA having to review it and stamp it and sign it and mail it back out to us. Like if it was digital, you know,
Minutes.
minutes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
It was better off to fly your stud to whatever country, have him collected and frozen there in that country, and then just fly him home.
that's the best way, I think. But
Nuts.
I use ICSB. And you know they're well, I mean their prices went up a little bit, but they were pretty reasonable and it was pretty easy. You know, I'll just go there, collect the dog, have it stored. When I want to send it, I tell them. They tell me if you want it to go by itself, it's going to be $2,800.
Yeah,
But if you want to wait for a community container, then it's 800. You know. So it just really depends, you know. Like when we sent Blue out there, we just waited for community container and sent them that way. But it was just when we went out there, we also pulled them there too. So it was just a lot easier that way. And we had semen in Italy and then semen in Germany, but with
now, use NorCal.
Yeah, I'm in NorCal.
So you're using ICSB NorCal?
Yeah, ICSB NorCal. Yeah.
I can't remember their name. It's like a mother and a daughter.
It's a mother and daughter. Yeah. They're super cool, brother.
Yeah.
Like whenever we come, they're like, "Where's Blaze? Where's Blaze? Where's Blue?" You know, and then we'll see them at a lot of the AKC shows too. You know that Kira is doing. If she's doing local shows, they go to a lot of the local shows in the area, and there's a big show called Wolfstock, and that's held at the Vallejo Fairgrounds, and they're always there. So we'll take Blue or Blaze down there and get them collected, and it's just easier than having to drive, the 2 hours to get to them.
Kind of going.
Shannon.
Shannon, yeah, Shannon.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, mine's got that.
But that was the easiest one because we've got an ICSB in Ohio, we've got one in like South Carolina.
Yeah.
But NorCal, way easier to deal with.
Oh, bro, super easy to deal with. And like she knows how to ship it anywhere in the world, right? Outside of shipping shit to Mars, like she could ship it. If you can ship it, she's done it, right? So like I asked her if she like people were telling me it's super hard to get semen to Australia. And so I'm like, so I heard it's super hard to get semen to Australia because we were trying to get Blue down there. And she was all, why? And I was like, well, I guess customs. She was like, well, I ain't never had a problem. And I was like, well, how long does it take? And she was like, well, regular shipping times. I was like, really? She was like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. She was like, just let me know when you want me to release some of your semen, and I'll get it, either if you want to go in a community container or if you want your own, how it goes. I'm like, all right, cool. So now I know, like she was like, you want to send it to the Philippines? You want to send it to Thailand? You want to send it to Australia? Anywhere you want to send it, I can send it. Right. Yeah. If it's sendable, I can send it. If it's like in the meaning of, yeah, you can send it, but you got to jump through hoops. She's like, she don't even bring up hoops. She just, I can send it. Yes, I could do it.
It'll get there.
It'll get there. Yeah. So I love using Shannon. She's freaking awesome. And then her daughter be cracking me up all the time. She's a sweetheart though. I mean, both of them are. They're both super cool.
Yeah. Oh, they were the easiest. And she actually caught a screw up, to be honest with you, that saved me a lot. So we had the dogs collected and frozen somewhere else. And then we gathered all the collections and shipped them all to her. Right.
Oh, okay.
That way she could send them
from here. Yeah.
So she gets them and she's like, hey, these are all packaged strong. Like some of these they're not a full collection. Some of them aren't right. So she was like, don't worry about it. She went through took all the collections, had them all repackaged. That way they were proper sized.
Yeah.
Collection.
Yeah.
And just a wild amount of crap we had to go through. And she was right there for us the whole time. Like, don't worry about it. I got it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whew, I'm glad you do. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Sounds like her. Yeah. Well, the problem was there was a point in time when they were trying to grow. And this happens with every business, you know what I mean, that has a franchise. They were trying to grow, or like a community base, right? When you're trying to grow, and then you just bring in whoever, you know what I mean, is willing to pay, and then you try to train them, and then whether they take that knowledge and apply it, it's really up to them, you know what I mean? So I think that's what happened with ICSB is they did that, you know what I mean? They had a few of their franchises that, didn't do their work properly.
Right.
And I know that there was a couple that I had to deal with also. And I've talked to Shannon about it because, she used to work at either Sirius or I don't know, one of those other ones. I think she was at another, and then she went off with her daughter, and then they joined ICSB. And they have been there since then. And they actually they came in during like the real big good time for them to come in, right? They came in during that exotic and Frenchy movement,
Yeah.
And so now, like I talked to him. She's like, "Business is so slow. What do you need a collection?" She like, "Hey, do you need to collect Blue or Blaze?" And I'm like, I don't have to, but I can, you know? And she was like, I know you like waiting for us to come to a show or something, but I got openings. And I'm like, all right, cool. You know, well, I'll be up there this week. But they're super cool. Yeah, I love them, man. They're super easy to deal with.
We do have a question from Shannon. She wanted to know, how much does personal preference play a role when picking a dog according to the standard? I mean, obviously it does, but
I mean, their personal preference, you know, I mean, obviously it's going to play a role, period. You know what I mean? We're human. But it shouldn't play a big part, you know, like I've picked dogs, that weren't my preference, you know what I mean? And I've picked dogs that actually were my preference. For a long time, for like the first couple years of doing this, I tried not to pick dogs that were my preference because that's what people kind of expected, you know? So it's just, you know, it's like one of those things. It's really, I would say that it goes hand in hand, you know, like judge to judge.
right.
You know what I mean? Like you have your judges that you know what they're gonna pick. You know what I mean? And then you have your judges where you're not sure what they're gonna pick, right? So I think a lot of it just goes. It just goes with the judge, you know. Like when I break down the dogs and in there, and I break them down to the standard.
Yeah.
You know, and then I go from there. If I have two dogs that are very, very, very similar, you know, then it could go off personal preference, you know.
Somebody wanted to know the average price for collection and storage. I have the latest email from ICSB, so I'll just show you on the screen. So this is the latest. Their new dog freezing up to 4 vials, 400. Repeat, this doesn't include shipping too. That's where it gets complicated.
Yeah.
And this collect and ship would be stateside, I would presume.
Yeah.
And then the annual storage is $90 for them to keep it on ice for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone up, but not a whole lot, you know.
No. It is when you get, number one, as a stud owner, you have to justify sending it. So you are not going to get 4 units and say, okay, I want to ship those to Europe. No, you're probably going to wait until you got like 20 units, and then you're paying, because not everybody, here's the complicated thing. He's like, you think it's 20 units. I just need to collect my dog 20 times, send it there. You know how busy your life is to get up and be like, oh, I got to go to ICSB today, you know, and then drive there, get the dog collected, whatever. Like, it takes forever to get enough units put together to ship
it. Send it out. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to wait for, you can pay out of pocket for a dedicated flight.
Yeah.
To whatever. And that's the great thing about ICSB. I don't know who the cryo bank is in Europe, right? But she does. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're a part of the ICSB also.
Right.
It's International Canine Storage Bank, you know. So they're also, like, say in Germany is Blendivet, something like that, Blendivet. And he has his own practice, but he's a part of that network ICSB, and he actually has the capability to store. So he has a store, you know, as a cryo bank. So he's like the main hub. Germany is the main hub. Blendivet is the main hub, and then from Germany, then it goes out to Spain, Italy, you know, Hungary, wherever else. But there's main players as far as vets go, and a lot of the breeders, you know, just drive up to Germany and just have, you know, Germany for them. Yeah.
And
So
then
I have, Blaze and Blue. We have Blaze and Blue over there.
right.
And so like whenever there's a breeding, a lot of the times, if they're close, as in like they're in either Belgium or Holland or one of the surrounding states, then they'll be like, oh, I'll just drive over, 2-3 hours, whatever. But if they're like in Slovakia or whatever, then they'll have to pay for the shipping to Hungary.
Right.
And then they'll go to Hungary to get it done.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, when they were talking about joint shipping, just to explain to people that aren't aware, so what's going to happen is like Shannon's got a shipment set up to go to Australia.
Community shipment. Community.
You have a unit, storage unit that will hold X amount of samples, and you can buy your position in that thing. So let's say it holds 100 samples. I don't know how many it holds. Let's say it holds 100. You want to send 10. She can be like, well, you've got it. You've already got it here. You got it on ice. And I'm getting ready to send one to Australia. Do you want to put 10 units in this? And you just pay for the 10 units.
Yeah.
So you split up the total cost of the shipping down to a per unit cost. So you know how much it would cost you to put so many in. So it makes it more affordable. Like you're not paying out the butt to send just your dogs. You're going over with a shipment with a bunch of other dogs.
Yeah. I had to when I sent some of Blue out to Germany, and it was going to be like $2,800 if it was like his own cryo tank, but if it was like going with a bunch of other straws from different dogs, then it was only like $700 and something. So yeah, you could do it that way, but at the same time, you have to wait until that tank is ready to go, meaning that it's full up, right?
Yeah.
So she might not, like when I had asked if I could send to Germany, she was like, "Yeah, do you want your own? Do you want to go with community?" It only took like 2 weeks for it to go,
Right.
but Mike that was ready, 3 weeks before that, had to wait a whole another month and a week before he was able to send out. So I guess it just depends on your situation. Like if someone's waiting and they need to breed their dog, within the next whatever, then you would have to pay that big money,
Right.
So it just kind of depends.
Exactly. We're shipping. I don't know why Dan tried to call me. Podcast.
Definitely something I got to get going.
Yeah, you for sure gonna have to start to now, huh? Your dog's super fucking famous now. Him and his handprint.
Yeah.
He's internationally hated now.
He's internationally known, you know what I'm saying? So I told Kira, well, from now on, every time we walk by that dog, we just gotta smack him in the ass.
It's a good look at like you do to race
ever
horses.
since she told me, I can't forget it now.
Yeah, bro. Me neither. It's me neither.
I can't unsee it, man. Like every time I see him now, I gotta look for it.
Yo, what's up, Gilbert?
Oh man,
Gilbert. Yeah. Well, she's gonna see it tomorrow, so
that's right.
Yeah.
All right, fellas.
Hell yeah. Right on, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on so I can clear the air on some things. Hopefully, at least as I said it, if people, they could take it however they want to, at this point. I just got my words out there, and hopefully people understand now.
Yep.
Yeah, and for the many years that I've known you, John, you've never been disrespectful. You've always tried to relay your message as respectful as possible, whatever, regardless of what it is, a critique, a criticism, advice, feedback, your opinion, how things transpired. It's always been in a respectful manner. So,
I mean, you have to, because we all have to live in this world together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's no point in us being upset with each other. Now there's a guy in this world that I really don't care a whole lot for. You know what I'm saying? And it was just over words that were misinterpreted, that were, twisted up. You know what I'm saying? But I had no issue with this person. I actually considered him a good person, and now I just don't even care for the guy. And it's unfortunate, but it had to get to that point. I just try to, I'm a bad dude trying to be a good person. You know what I mean? I tell people that all the time. I'm a bad guy trying to be a good person. And that's because I have to live in this same world that you do.
Right.
There's no point in us going on in our lives hating everyone else, right? Like I have a family to tend to. I've got not a toddler here now, so I don't have to be worrying it.
Right.
So yeah, man. I mean, I've had my fair share of all that hatred in my life, and I don't need it anymore. So I just try to be a good man. That's all. I'm just trying to be a good man. So,
and that's all I've known you to be, John.
That's right.
Right on, brother. You too, man. And I mean, I show you a whole lot of respect because I know where you come from.
Yeah, we ain't gonna speak on that. We gonna speak on that. We gonna leave that alone.
But yeah, no, every one of us bleed the same color. We breathe the same air. So we're not better. We're not better than the other. Roger, you may be better looking than me, but we're still men, right?
I tricked a woman into getting married, so I guess I was good looking enough.
Hey, brother, trust me, I did the same thing with my wife. She found out who I really was. She was like, "You totally tricked me."
Oh yeah. No, I know mine's a fixer. Probably married to her for a few years. I'm like, she tries to fix everybody, and I sat there and I was like, did she marry me because I was fucked up? Is that why she married?
That's kind of fucked up when you got to sit back and think about it. I'm
the long-term fix. Is that what that is?
Right on, man. It's always a pleasure, and always a good time hanging out with you guys. Roger, hopefully I get to see you again soon at a show. And Hans, I'll see you at the next one that I go to.
Yeah, brother. I'll be there.
All right, man. I love both of y'all, man. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, brother.
All right, brother. Much love.
All right, guys.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Later.